Welcome everyone to Ratioed. My name is Harrison Faulkner. We have a stacked lineup of content to get into this week. We start the show off with global news telling us about the plight of asexual Canadians. Yes, asexual, that's another letter in the alphabet and number soup that we're all supposed to know by now. Then we turn our focus to a bird conservation society that put out a very bizarre video of a man dressed up as a woman dressed up as a bird, telling us that we need to do more to fight climate change. Then we go to irrelevant Formula One driver Sebastian Vettel, telling us while on Canadian soil that Canada has committed a climate crime. And we wrap up the show this week with the Ratio of the Week award, as we always do. This week, it is going to a Canadian professor who got ratioed so badly on Twitter that international news picked it up and shamed him for it. Let's get into it. All right, everyone, buckle up because the cringe this week is going to come thick and fast, and we start with global news. Now, I'll just say as well, global news I tend to find is not the worst of all Canadian legacy media. They're pretty bad, but they're definitely not the worst. And they're usually not the ones that get into these weird woke movements. But nonetheless, that didn't stop global news this week. Global News on Twitter wrote, quote, asexuality is just as valid an orientation as being lesbian or gay or bi. But of course, we need to make it asexuality so that women like this can reap the sympathy from being profiled in global news. So the tweet graphic starts off with the portrait of this woman, and then the alphabet and number soup of 2SLGBTQQIA+. Now, whatever all that means, I still do not know. I can define LGBT and Q, but I don't know where the second Q comes in. I don't know what the I is. And I guess the A is asexual now, and the plus is just whatever you want to make of it. The graphic then reads, it's a quote from this woman, Hadley Abrams. It says, it's just like realizing that someone thinks the sky is green their entire life, and I'm like, what do you mean? That's not what I see as green. What is that? What does any of that mean? It's just like realizing the sky is green, but I'm like, what do you mean? That's not what I see as green. Well, what I see in this photo here is a woman looking for as much attention as she can get. Now, the comments on this, of course, are pretty brilliant. Let's just start with a couple of them here. We start off with this one. What is the percentage of Canadians that identify as asexual? I'm guessing much less than 1%. Be whoever you want. Love is love, but why must we be beaten over the head with this constantly? Most people cannot care less. And why does Global News think that we really care about this stuff? Why does Global News think that, given that this person represents less than 1% of the country, we need to stop what we're doing and be told about this woman's life story and about what color she thinks the sky is? The next comment, I think, is really the best of them all, which is me, 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 me. Me also. Next we have, this is news in Canada. And the truth is, unfortunately with the legacy media, that's what we get as news. This is news to them. And one of the perfect comments from this tweet was this. Let me take a minute away from the current economic disaster to care about this. Nope. Yeah. Like we have some other things to care about, Canada. We have some other more important pressing issues than this woman's confused asexuality. All right, everyone, so we now turn our focus to the Audubon Society, a group of bird conservationists who really didn't want to miss their opportunity to jump on the Pride Month bandwagon and have their opportunity to embarrass themselves by putting out the worst content imaginable. Now, they put out a tweet this week which wrote, this Pride Month, Audubon partnered with drag queen and intersectional environmentalist Patty Gonia to bring you #BirdsTellUs, the song of the meadowlark, a message of hope for the future of our planet as we face climate change, if we choose to listen. All right, folks, take this as a content warning. What you're going to see here is a man dressed up as a woman, pretending to be a bird, dancing in a field, while performing some singing, spoken poetry song, Birds Tell Us. Let's watch this.
Birds tell us. Birds tell us that the world is changing, that the climate is changing. They sing it over us and around us, in their songs and in the songs they no longer sing. Will we choose to listen? Birds tell us. birds sing just before dawn? People believe it's to tell each other that they made it through the night. As a way of saying, I'm still here.
Still here.
Maybe that's why we sing too. As a way of saying, I made it. I'm still here.
Oh my God, stop. That goes on for another minute. Now, I wonder how many years it'll take us as a society to look back and come to the realization of the full scale of cringe and embarrassment we've all put ourselves through over these past few years, because we're reaching new levels, new heights never before reached of just absolute clown-town ridiculousness. Also, couldn't this Audubon Society just show birds the entire video? Couldn't they just show birds and have this person talking in the background? Do they really need to be the focus of the video? Does their weird drag queen gender ideology crap need to be the front and center of this video to push the message for climate change? Now, before we get into the comments on the video, because, well, of course we have to get into those, obviously. Now, something else that I just don't understand is if climate change is such an important issue for these activists, why would they make such a mockery of their activism by showing a drag queen dressed up as a bird dancing in a field? Is this really going to inspire us to get involved in climate activism, or is it just going to make us all laugh at them and think they're all stupid? Now, there's almost 2,000 quote tweets, and that's because the Audubon Society was too afraid to leave their comment section open to hear what people really had to think about their video. The first quote tweet we have is, "How will this help save more birds?" Which is, of course, exactly what this is. This is not about climate. This is not about birds. This is about pushing gender ideology, and I think the sooner we all come to realize that none of this is about anything other than pushing a specific ideology, the better off we will all be. Next we have Gad Sad, who pretty much bats 1,000 every time he goes on Twitter. He wrote, "Nice, intersectional environmentalist and a drag queen." And lastly, we have Tell Me This Is a Parody, and unfortunately, no, it's not a parody. This is just the world we live in. We live in a parody. Now, there's two types of people that I really can't stand: hypocrites and slow drivers. And last weekend, Canadians were treated to a 2-in-1 package when Sebastian Vettel showed up to the Canadian Grand Prix wearing a t-shirt that said, "Stop mining tar sands oil, Canada's climate crime." Now, Sebastian Vettel finished the race on Sunday 44 seconds behind the winner, Max Verstappen. And to his credit, Sebastian Vettel used to be fast. He used to be quite a good racer. But now he's slower around the track than the customs line at Pearson Airport. Sebastian Vettel races for a team called Aston Martin Racing. One of Aston Martin's biggest sponsors is Aramco, Saudi Aramco, the world's largest oil producer, and the company responsible for 4% of global carbon emissions. Yes, one company responsible for 4% of the global carbon emissions. A man sporting the Aramco logo on his helmet and on his jacket of the race and on his car decided that it would be a good idea for a foreigner visiting Canada as a guest of our country to attack our oil sands production, to attack our clean production, while sporting the logo of blood-stained Saudi Arabian oil manufacturers. Now, I think it's fair that we expect our athletes not to be the brightest bulbs in the box, not to be the smartest people around. But as soon as they decide to attack the country they are visiting as a guest and engage in activism, they better be able to answer for that. They better be able to answer for the fact that this man is making $15 million a year off of the back of a Saudi Arabian blood-stained oil manufacturer in Aramco. Now, he was asked about his protest in a press conference. Now just listen to the hypocrisy of this low IQ race car driver.
I do a lot of reading on the subject because I find this fascinating might be the wrong word, but it's, there's a lot going on. And I think we live in a time and age where we are so much aware of a lot of things.
So he does a lot of reading on this subject, and we live in a time and an age where we are so much aware of a lot of things. Shakespearean, one might say.
I think, what happens in Alberta is a crime because you chop down a lot of trees and you basically destroy the place just to extract oil. And the manner of doing it with the tar sands mining or oil sands mining is horrible for nature. And obviously Canada's greenhouse gas emissions also have gone up since they started doing it.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Now, I think it's clear that Sebastian Vettel's attempt at activism is really just a sad attempt to try and stay relevant. After watching that clip, it's pretty clear that Vettel is as slow in his head as he is in the race car. Time to hang it up, I think. Now, to wrap it up this week, we have the Ratio of the Week award to hand out, and this week I'm pretty happy that it's going to a truly deserving winner. This person went above and beyond this week. He went out of his way to make sure that he was deserving of the award. We're talking, of course, about Canadian University of Ottawa professor Amir Attaran. Now, Amir was on a United Airlines flight last week, and he took a photo of a flight attendant not wearing a mask while on an American flight following American air safety rules. So again, this woman was following the rules of her airline and her flight, and God forbid she wasn't wearing a mask on the plane. Now, instead of being a decent person and letting it go because it doesn't matter, no, this person wearing a giant face mask, because that's what healthy and sane people do, this person wearing that mask took a photo of this poor woman and blasted it online, tagging legacy media news outlets and United Airlines to complain about this woman, quote, not following the rules. Let's look at this tweet. The tweet has 15.6 thousand comments and 910 likes. I mean, that is truly special stuff. That you do not see that every day. That is basically the worst you can do on Twitter, I think. He writes in the tweet, "Hey at United, why are you breaking the law? Masks are required on all flights out of Canada. Your flight attendant isn't wearing one. This is UA 3737 in Ottawa right now." And he tags the RCMP, Transport Canada, and then CBC Politics, Globe and Mail, Global News, and then some air rights organization. Now, it appears as though after a few too many in-flight cocktails, Amir Attaran continued his long Twitter thread to attack this woman. He writes, "Canada is not in the USA, you effers." He writes, "United should be forbidden flying to Canada immediately. Our country, our rules. Even the supervisor I talked with in Chicago didn't understand Canadian rules apply to flights departing Canada." And he tags Omar Al-Gabra. So he's going full Karen mode, he's going full lunatic, and full freak. And he just lays into it and he keeps going. Now, even weirder is that United Airlines responded to this man. For some reason, they did not need to because everyone seeing this realized that this person is a total lunatic. But United Airlines took the high road, I guess you could say, and responded to the person on Twitter and said, "Hi Amir, thanks for bringing this to our attention. We've informed the appropriate teams for further review." And that's not good enough for Amir Karen Attaran. Amir responds with, "Further review? Sorry at United, that's BS. Transport Canada says very clearly right here, wear a mask throughout your entire travel journey, except for brief periods while eating, drinking, or taking oral medication. Surely you can understand that, no?"
I want to see the manager.
This man just got absolutely brutalized on Twitter, and unfortunately it appears as though he enjoys it too. This is an amazing response, which is a picture of his scholarly work and the amount of citations he's received from writing. And it goes 65 papers and only 15 citations, you get ratioed everywhere. Perfect. So perfect. I love this one. This is a picture of Randall Weems from Recess, and it says same energy. It's just perfect. Now, you know you've really messed up when people start making meme videos of you in your own comment section. Just watch this hilarious video that someone made of this insane professor.
"Excuse me, why are you not wearing your mask?"
Do not raise your voice to me, sir.
I wasn't raising my voice.
Okay, just calm down.
I am calm. I just want you to put your mask on.
Sir, our country is going through a very difficult time right now, and if you're not going to cooperate...
The country's going through a difficult time because people like you won't wear your masks.
Is there a problem here, sir?
Oh, wise guy, eh? Where's your mask?
Can you come to the back of the plane with me so we can have a talk?
I have a talk about what? There's no problem here. I was just asking the stewardess.
Flight attendant.
The flight attendant won't put her mask on.
Calm down.
I am calm. What is it with you people?
You people.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I didn't mean it like that. I love black people. They're my favorite minority.
Sir, I will not tolerate any racist behavior on the plane.
Oh, man, that's just too good. All right, well, that's going to do it for us this week. We'll be back next Thursday for another episode of Ratioed. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Harrison Faulkner.